Tonight on NewsWatch Ole Miss, a week after coronavirus restrictions were eased on campus, confusion and mixed feelings remain. We'll take a look at campus reactions.
A gun violence program is making its way to Oxford and the rest of North Mississippi with help from federal law enforcement. We'll take a look at the program coming up.
And tensions between Russia and Ukraine continue to ramp up with the Olympics over. Today, world leaders are condemning Putin's latest action. A look at that action is straight ahead. NewsWatch Ole Miss starts now.
Good evening and welcome to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I am Juliana Jackson.
And I'm Sarah Gale. In the past 2 years, there's been an increase in violent crime nationwide. And now federal, state, and local law enforcement in Mississippi, including Oxford, are fighting back. U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Mississippi, Clay Joyner, says that his office is teaming up with the FBI to work on the program that targets gun violence in Mississippi, called the Violent Gun Reduction and Interdiction Program, or VGRIP. With this program, violent crimes involving guns will now be prosecuted at the federal level, which means that those convicted will no longer be eligible for early release or parole. Other North Mississippi police departments participating include South Haven and Olive Branch.
The Boys and Girls Club of Oxford is set to start filming their first episode of their new podcast series geared towards the workforce and career readiness and entrepreneurs. Frederick Nettles with Segment Productions, who's in partnership with the Boys and Girls Club, hopes this podcast creates a space for athletes and entrepreneurs to share their stories as to how they became the person they are today. The public is invited to attend the event, which will be held this Thursday at the Lau Barksdale Clubhouse on Washington Avenue at 4:00 p.m.
It's been a week of new mask guidelines at Ole Miss, and many students and faculty members have spent the last week trying to figure out where they need to wear a mask. NewsWatch reporter Anna Caroline Barker went to gauge feelings on campus, and she joins us now. Anna Caroline?
Thanks, Sarah Gale. With the exception of a brief period over the summer, mask guidelines on campus have been consistent since students returned in the fall of 2020. So the change has been a mixed bag for students and faculty alike. As of February 14th, the university requires face coverings only in instructional areas and healthcare settings, regardless of vaccination status.
I think the university is doing a great job with keeping our health a priority first, but I will be glad when we don't have to wear these anymore.
Face coverings will not be required in other public spaces, such as residence halls, libraries, dining facilities, the student union, campus recreation facilities, and offices or conference rooms. However, they are still required in classrooms.
I think they should get rid of them completely. Like, if they don't require them in the union, they shouldn't require them at all, or like in public spaces. So I don't understand why they have to have them if we're sitting far apart. Like, what's the difference between that and like walking around the union?
Chancellor Boyce asked that members of the university remain supportive of those who prefer to still mask up, allowing faculty and staff to require face covering in their private office areas as they wish.
If I just look at my, class sampling size from today, half my students are sick. I'm not saying that that's correlation, but it may cause us to rethink a few things.
Face coverings will still be provided for requesting departments. Chancellor Boyce says the university continues to monitor the presence of COVID-19 on campus and adapt in order to uphold the health and safety of the Ole Miss community. Anna Caroline Barker, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Thanks, Anna Claire. Even though mask requirements have been eased for the last week at the university, coronavirus cases are significantly lower than they were just a couple of weeks ago. There are 5 active confirmed cases on campus, which include 3 active student cases, 1 active staff case, and 1 active faculty case. The Mississippi State Department of Health has not yet released the statement number of new cases from over the weekend.
And staying on the coronavirus, a COVID-19 pill is helping people stay out of the hospital in India. According to a new study, drug company Merck's antiviral molnupiravir treatment has reduced the risk of hospitalization by 65%. Researchers in India looked at over 12,000 people with COVID-19 and found that only 1.5% of the people who took the pill had to go to the hospital, as opposed to the 4.3% of those who did not take the pill. This study was presented at a major virus and infection conference, but it has not yet been peer-reviewed. Merck's coronavirus pill does have emergency use authorization in the United States.
In other health-related news, it's almost March, and now is the time that New Year's resolutions become particularly difficult. But health experts say it is not too late to get back into the fitness game. One tip to get your goals back on track if you've already fallen short is to assess where you went wrong. If you set too many goals, focus on just one of those goals. Next up, change your focus. You may see other goals that are more important to your immediate health, like getting more sleep. And finally, track your progress. This could be done with progress pictures or using an app to track your workouts and food intake.
In other news, you may want to find a new place to do your value shopping. Tennessee State Representative G.A. Hardaway with other Mid-South leaders issued a warning to multiple southern states to stop shopping at Family Dollar after a rat infestation was discovered at their distribution center in West Memphis. Last week, the FDA alerted the public that several products purchased from January 1st until now may be unsafe to use and should be discarded. Contaminated products include human and animal foods, cosmetics, over-the-counter medications, and medical devices. Foods packaged in undamaged glass or other metal cans can be suitable for use if thoroughly cleaned and sanitized, and consumers should wash their hands after handling any products from Family Dollar stores.
Mississippi is historically known for being at the bottom of the list for the nation's graduation rates, but that narrative is changing. Mississippi high school graduation rates are at an all-time high, with statewide graduation rates rising from 74.5% in 2014 to 88.4% in the 2020 through 2021 school year. Although high school graduation rates are on the rise, this does not mean the same for college enrollment rates. University and community college enrollment rates have taken small dips in recent years. This is partly because students go immediately into the workforce or technical 1 to 2 year specialty jobs.
Governor Reeves enacted 2 executive orders today to help military families in Mississippi. These orders created 2 programs, the Military Star School Program and the Mississippi Defense Communities Development Council, or MDCDC. The STAR program will provide resources for children to ease the transition to new schools and communities. And the MDCDC will create a council in communities where military installations are located that allows representatives to have a say in issues relating to the opportunities and threats to the installations. Each active duty military installation and National Guard training center in Mississippi will be represented.
If you are a fan of TED Talks, then you are in luck. The University of Mississippi is hosting its 7th annual TED Talk series, which will include 8 speakers who will explore new avenues in the arts and sciences. The theme for this year's TED Talk will dive into the ideas and avenues people and organizations and communities are exploring to optimize their outcomes. This in-person event is tomorrow at the Gertrude C. Ford Center for the Performing Arts at 7 p.m. And tickets are free but must be reserved through the Ford Center box office.
And don't forget your raincoats when you're heading out the door tomorrow morning. According to the National Weather Service, Lafayette County will be at risk for severe weather from tomorrow morning to the night. Severe thunderstorms, an isolated tornado threat, wind damage, large hail, and flash floods will be possible tomorrow afternoon and evening.
The avocado ban may be over, but that does not mean prices are headed down just yet. The latest on the avocado saga is coming up. But first, here is a look at your current conditions.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere will bring us wireless emergency alerts. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back. You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Mom, I got it. What are you doing in there?
I got stuck.
Are you a dog?
I wouldn't do that. Have you seen the pliers? Where'd you find those?
It's not your birthday.
Sorry.
Bye, Grandpa.
Bye, Grandpa.
Take care of yourself.
What are you doing? What are you looking for?
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is the moment I knew his future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What?
I can't drive.
Why?
My. Oh.
Times during class, and I tell her to talk to him, and it's like, oh, ew.
Worried about your friend, but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR, it's all good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should.
Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health.
Whatever gets you talking.
Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Tensions continue to rise at the Russia-Ukraine border, and officials now fear that invasion is not only imminent, but could happen within days or even hours. The United States and other Western countries continue to try diplomacy, but hope is failing. CNN's Isabel Rosales has the latest on the international fears of war in Europe.
U.S. intelligence and satellite images reveal Russia going full speed ahead with military preps.
Today might be that day, and we hope that's not the case, which is why we continue to exhaust every possible diplomatic option here going forward.
In a TV broadcast, Russian President Vladimir Putin accusing the West of threats. The Russian president says he is officially recognizing the separatist regions in Ukraine as independent states. Putin airing his grievances about the breakup of the former Soviet republics.
Modern Ukraine from the beginning and in its totality has been created by Russia.
The U.S. and allies warn every indication shows Russia is preparing to invade.
These are not the actions of a Russian government fulfilling its repeated declarations that it has no intention of invading Ukraine.
The U.S. also says it has credible information about a Russian kill list, writing in a letter to the United Nations that Russia is identifying Ukrainians to be killed or sent to camps. The Kremlin denying the claim, calling it absolute fiction.
We believe that any military operation of the size, scope, and magnitude of what we believe the Russians are planning will be extremely violent. It will cost the lives of Ukrainians and Russians, civilians and military personnel alike.
The Russian escalation at the front lines is at odds with what Putin has said publicly. Putin agreeing to a summit with President Joe Biden.
He can do the right thing by finding a diplomatic path forward.
Biden accepting on the condition Russia not invade Ukraine. In Washington, Isabel Rosales.
As a response to Putin's recognition of the territories, today President Biden announced that an executive order will prohibit trade and finance between Americas and the regions of Ukraine.
Back in Washington, the search for a new Supreme Court justice is underway. President Biden has started interviews with his candidates, meeting in person with at least one last week. There's no word yet on how many candidates will be considered, but there could be an announcement of a new nominee within the next few days. The president's self-imposed clock is ticking. He said at the beginning of the search that he hoped to name his nominee by the end of the month. There's a new social media app on the market. Former President Trump came out with his own app called Truth Social, which came out today. With an overflow of new users, the app has resorted to putting users on a wait list for the sign-up process. This app looks similar to other popular social media sites, but refers to posts as truths, and reshares on the app are called retruths. The head of the media company released a statement saying the app will be fully operational by the end of March.
And speaking of things launching, after 3 years of waiting, the world's largest cruise ship is finally ready to set sail. Royal Caribbean's Wonder of the Seas is set for its first voyage from Fort Lauderdale, Florida to the Caribbean in less than 2 weeks. The almost 1,200-foot ship can hold over 6,900 guests and 2,300 crew members. Passengers will have 18 decks of activities, including a 10-deck high zipline, poolside movie screen, and what is known as the tallest slide at sea. The first trip leaves on March 4th, and the ships will launch its Western Mediterranean cruises in May.
Coming up in sports, baseball season is officially underway and the Rebel Bats are already smoking after a weekend sweep over Charleston Southern. And Brian Flores has found a new team to call home in Pittsburgh after being hired by the Steelers over the weekend. Find out more up next in sports.
On October 15th, 2017, 2 words changed the course of history. The words we wrote that day are a part of a longer and even more powerful history.
The wounds become scars.
Things are changing.
We really need everyone's voices.
Today, we all have a chance to write another chapter, powered by everyday activism as simple as joining a march or reading a book, written to a permanent archive on a public blockchain.
Because it takes a sea of us coming forward to demand change.
Because no matter who you are, you can act too. The end of sexual violence begins with this next act.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
Baseball is back at Swayze Field. In the season opener Friday night, Derek Diamond earned the start, allowing 2 runs on 2 hits through 5 innings. He also added 8 strikeouts. Tim Elko was the storyline on Friday night after hitting another home run, this time a solo shot in the 6th. The Rebs walked away with an easy 9-3 win over Charleston Southern on Friday night. In Game 2, Ole Miss mercy ruled the Bucks 11-1, resulting in the game being called in the 7th inning. Transfer John Gaddis made his debut for the Rebels, pitching 4 innings, allowing only 1 run on 3 hits. Tim Elko had 2 hits in this game, a single in the 1st, and you guessed it, another home run in the 4th. If you thought he was good with 1 ACL, you should see him with 2. Ole Miss came in looking for the sweep in Game 3 and was able to get it done in 7 innings. The bats stayed hot for the Rebs with 12 hits and 12 runs scored as they walked away from the weekend undefeated. Heading into this weekend, Ole Miss was ranked number 5, but thanks to their dominant performance against Charleston Southern, they squeaked into the top 3 alongside Texas and Arkansas in D1 baseball rankings. Staying on the diamond, the Rebel team went 4-1 this weekend during the Troy Invitational. Ole Miss kicked off the tournament against Nicholls State, winning 10-2. The Rebs then went on to beat Eastern Kentucky 2-1 in a doubleheader on Friday. On Saturday, Ole Miss moved to 3-1 on the weekend after toppling Eastern Kentucky 8-0 and then falling 1 run short against Troy. The Rebs wasted no time on Sunday, getting their revenge in a rematch game, beating Troy 8-7 to finish out the weekend 4-1. And due to the threat inclement weather tomorrow, the Rebels softball team will now make their home debut on March 2nd against Southeast Missouri. Onto the hardwood, the Ole Miss women's basketball team came away with a big win over Vanderbilt yesterday, launching Ole Miss into prime postseason position after a very tough stretch. Coach Yo says last night's win taught her squad how to respond to adversity.
This was the type of win that I would say we needed right now, just because we have not done well in adversity in the past. They knew what was at stake. We felt like if we got this win, it would really put us in good position for the NCAA tournament, and obviously that's our goal.
Ole Miss will look to close out the regular season with their final 3 games in the next 5 days. Coach Yo and the Rebs will host Arkansas in a rescheduled matchup tomorrow night inside the Pavilion. Tip-off is set for 6 p.m. Central Time on SEC Network Plus. On the court, men's tennis knocked off number 12 Texas A&M in a non-conference ITI Nationals consolation duel this weekend at the Seattle Tennis Club. With the addition of this match, the Rebs have now faced 5 top 25 teams, with 4 of those being in the top 12 in 2022. The Aggies opened up the match winning in doubles before Ole Miss came back, taking the lead in singles. Ole Miss will open the SEC season up against Tennessee at home on March 6th. The Volunteers are currently the number 2 ranked team in the country. On senior night, number 5 Rifle posted a 4,719 aggregate score in the NCAA qualifier. Only 8 teams will be advancing to the NCAA Rifle Championships in March, and those teams will be announced on Tuesday, February 22nd at 2 p.m. Central Time by the NCAA. Ole Miss hopes that they solidified a coveted top 8 spot with their 9,446.33 average total. The Rebs will continue their season next weekend at the GARC Championship in West Point, New York. Now on to NFL news. After an interesting few weeks, former Miami Dolphins head coach Brian Flores has found a new home. The Pittsburgh Steelers announced that Flores would be hired as a defensive assistant and linebackers coach. Flores is currently suing the NFL as well as 3 teams on grounds of alleged discrimination in the interview process, as well as wrongful firing from the Dolphins this past season. And that's all I've got for sports. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at rebel_watch for the latest sports updates.
Thanks, Ruby. In this tree, you'll find the first member of its species ever spotted in the United States. Get a closer look and learn a little bit about it coming up.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need
support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are distinguished as a Carnegie R1 top 2.5% research institution. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
Meet the Bat Falcon. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service recently posted these pictures on a bird taken in Santa Ana National Wildlife Refuge in Texas. What's so special about it? This is the first ever sighting of a bat falcon in the United States.
That's right. This species of falcon normally stays south in the tropical regions of Mexico and Central and Southern America. Bat falcons are small predators that typically hunt bats, other birds, small rodents, and large insects like the dragonfly this one is snacking on. Experts think that this particular bird is a juvenile. I wonder if we'll ever see one of these in Oxford.
If we did, I would not know the difference between that one and a regular falcon that I've seen before, or the Atlanta Falcons. I have no idea.
True.
That's all we have for tonight. Thanks for watching NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Sarah Gale.
And I'm Juliana Jackson. You can find us on social media at NewsWatch Ole Miss for the latest updates on Ole Miss and beyond.
Thank you and good night.